This is going to be my review on the Powerbook IV fourth season finale. It's not going to be a full review, it's just going to be a summary. I had already watched the show and I didn't take notes, so I'm just doing a summary and highlights of the main parts of the show. So it's going to be really quick and straight to the point. And I want to start off with this story the story of Jannard and Diamond. Now, that story was. I feel like it was hyped a lot. I thought Diamond was gonna do some more damage, but he actually ended up not doing much damage at all besides killing that one guy that he shot. And they kind of hyped it up, this whole storyline between Jannard and Diamond, like Jannard and Diamond would go into an all out war, and then we actually see the show, and that doesn't happen in the show. They just ended up having a conversation, which could have been done in the beginning if Jannard just asked him about it, or came up to him and told him how he felt about the situation. That could have been hashed out right then and there. But they built this whole storyline over a bloody feud and a war between Jannard and Diamond. And then we get to this war, and it's not really a war. So I didn't really like that storyline. but I feel where Diamond was coming from. I know that I know that he went to jail before, and I feel like before going to jail, he was just like Tommy. So he was hot-headed and probably quick to shoot, and he probably went around things a different way. And now that he went to jail and he had some experiences, he realized that his consequences, I mean, that there are consequences to his actions. So I feel that he's a lot leveled down, and he doesn't want to handle things the way he originally handled things, which is very understandable. And yeah, it is very understandable. So I understand his character and his reasoning for not wanting to go about things the way he used to go about. And plus, Jannard is his brother, so he feels like he has to take care of him. Although, me personally, if I had things my way, I would have preferred him to shoot Jannard. But he didn't, so I guess. But yeah, but yeah, the storyline between Jannard and Diamond, it was a bit overhyped for me, and I wish that Diamond would have spent less time talking to Jannard and more time shooting and trying to help Tommy out, because I feel like if he didn't spend so much time trying to patch up things with his brother, he could have at least been a little bit of a help, and he could have helped Liliana, or at least helped her to see that Claudia was right there. But since he spent so much time talking to his brother, he wasn't able to help out with other things, and he wasn't able to see what was going on in the background. I also feel that the conversation that him and Jannard had could have been done over the phone. It didn't have to be done during the shootout. They could have had that conversation before, especially since he was hesitating, and then he kept hesitating, and then we finally get to the point where he's supposed to do it, and he still hesitates. So it's just like, if he knew he was gonna make that decision, he could have made that decision over the phone and not when they're in an all-out war and when they're in an all-out shootout, and not after Gennard goes in and makes a deal with the Russians. That's just my thoughts on that, which brings me to my second story about Liliana. Liliana telling the cook to leave and skip town and run away was out of character for her. I really feel like the writers purposely made it, they wanted her to die. I feel like they built her up and they made us fall in love with her and they made us like her, and just so that they basically built her up so that they could tear her down and kill her in the end, because everything was fine. Episode 1 through episode 9, she always did what she needed to do and she did it right. And we come to the season finale and she makes this one mistake. She makes 2 mistakes that end up costing her her life. So I felt like it was just thrown in there and it was out of character for her. It was out of character. It was out of book. It was just something that she normally wouldn't do. And it made no sense for her to tell her to leave because Tommy didn't tell her to do that. And she doesn't do what Tommy says. And from the beginning of the season, she wanted to kill her. So it made no sense that she told her to run away. And I really felt like the writers just put this in the storyline so that way she would die. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I feel like it was out of character, and I feel that her death was planned since the beginning. If you notice, she's always like, this is my life, this is what we do. Do you know any other life? Etc., etc., etc. And I really feel like they made it so that she would die, and they built the storyline of her being a killer, this being her life, and her not having anything else but the streets, and then for her to die in the end. Yeah, I just feel like this was just thrown out there, and I feel like the storyline should have been different. I felt like she could have been like a really good trio with her, Tommy, and possibly Diamond, but they ended up killing her, which I feel like didn't make sense. I don't feel like she had to die. If anything, I feel like Claudia should have died, but instead of Claudia dying, Liliana died. I really do think Claudia will eventually get what she deserves, and I really believe that she won't make it past season 2. And the reason why I say this is just because she's very power hungry, and she wants the power, and she's good at being in power, but she doesn't have much experience of being on the front lines. Her dad placed her in the back, and she was always in the background. So she's really good at being in the background and strategizing, but she's not too good at being in the front lines. And even though she's not good at being in the front line, she doesn't want to accept that, and she wants to go all in and be in complete control. And I believe the little scenario with her and her brother won't last too long before Claudia ends up trying to take complete control and ends up either trying to kill her brother or ends up trying to manipulate him. So I don't believe that that little dynasty or whatever, or that little storyline with her and Victor working together will last long, because Victor doesn't respect her and she wants to be in power, complete control. But this is a man's world, and she doesn't have enough experience to go that route. Maybe in a couple years, but not right now. Just because the fact that she just caught her first couple bodies, and she doesn't really understand how people work and the way they manipulate you, and how people will deceive you, and etc. So I do believe she can be a really good leader, but I do feel like her ego will eventually get in the way, and she'll think she knows everything and she thinks she's ahead of everything, but she's not. And I do believe by the end of season 2, she will be gone, especially due to the fact that she was the one who shot Claudia. And once Tommy finds out, or Jannard finds out, because Jannard did have feelings for Liliana, and when he finds out that she was the cause of it, I do feel like he will retaliate, and he won't hesitate to retaliate. So I do feel like her story will be short-lived, and I do think she is very wrong for knowing that Tommy didn't have anything to do with it and still continuing with everything and not stopping then and there. And I do feel like she purposely killed Liliana before telling her father, because she didn't want Tommy going off and making his own Dahlia. So I feel like she was very vindictive in the fact that she didn't care that Tommy died, because I was her business partner and competitor. And she is almost like she was using this storyline for her own benefit. And then when she realized that they were losing the war, she got up and finally said something. But I do believe that her storyline will be short-lived, and it will not last long, and hopefully she dies before season 2. As for Victor, I really didn't see what was the point of him being very angry and saying, this is for Gloria, this is for us, and in dedicating this whole war to her. And then he finds out the Russians were behind it and his father was behind it, and he does nothing. He doesn't even go to attack the Russians. He doesn't even kill his father. He just does nothing. And he didn't even have that same energy with Tommy. With Tommy, he had that energy, but when it came to the Russians and his father, he was able to let everything slide. And I just didn't see that point. And I'm not sure if it's because Tommy's a one-man crew, so he felt Tommy was easier, or because his father was backing him up, so he felt like if his father was backing up, he could do it. I'm not sure why he came to that conclusion. I just didn't really understand the whole, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that for Gloria, and then when it all comes down to it and he finds out who's really behind it, he doesn't he doesn't shoot his dad, and he doesn't end up going with a war to the Russians because his father is not backing him. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like Victor will eventually realize that he's not cut out for this world, and that he just wasn't meant to be a leader, or he wasn't meant to be in power, because he doesn't have that. And he should have just listened to Tommy and drove off into the sunset and never looked back. But what happened, and he can't take it back. And he'll eventually realize that he's not really cut out for this life. And when he starts to go on things about his own, he'll start to realize that he needs a lot of help. And he's not going to get that help. And I do think that both him and Claudia will eventually meet their demise next season, just because they're separated from their father, and because now that they're on their own, they won't be as protected, and they'll be more bold with their actions. However, their actions will have consequences, and I just don't see them making it past season 2, especially with Tommy saying that he wants to expand his territory. As for Tommy, he doesn't have Dahlia anymore. So he doesn't have that source of power, but he did mention that he wants to take over the whole entire territory, which I believe will be easy to do since Claudia and Victor split between their father. So I think it would be a lot easier for him to take control of the territories. And since since Diamond and Gennard split, it would be easy for him to take that part of the territory as well. So I do feel like by the end of season 2, he's going to end up having a lot more territory on his hands. And I do believe that the cook may die. Either the cook will die, or she'll be working for Tommy at the end of season 2, because he does know who she is. So, and he can always retaliate for her giving up Gennard. Giving up JP's whereabouts and who he was, and her inadvertently being the reason why Liliana died. So I do feel like the cook won't make it to season 2. I do believe that next season, Tommy and Diamond will be working more closely together, especially because Gennard is not in the picture. And I do believe that Tommy and Diamond could be like the new Ghost and Tommy to an extent. And I feel like if they work together, they really can take over Chicago. That's pretty much my review / summary / expectations for the next season. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I didn't really take notes, so I didn't keep track of every single storyline. I just watched the show, and then I decided to make a video about it. But I will be continuing this, and I'll start making videos about P-Valley since that's coming up next. And yeah, if you like what I have to say, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter for more updates. And if you have any theories, or if you agree with anything I said, make sure you put it in the comment section. Thanks for watching my videos, and I'll see you soon.